Welcome to Money Convos, where we discuss personal finance and investment tips. We're committed to helping people create wealth and achieve financial freedom. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Alright then, let's head into today's conversation.
Okay, while we wait for Adam and the others to join. Brian, how you doing? Wait, I'm expecting a response here in the audience. Anyway, let's see, bring up Jennifer. Today is going to be an interesting conversation. It feels like just a sequel to last week's conversation. It's as if the president was listening to us and he came to speak about speculation in his address, but well, we enter the matter today. Adam, can you unmute? Okay, having some technical challenges with Adam, but let me see. I'm bringing up Mimi and Jennifer. Jenny, please check your notifications. And Brian, if you'd indulge us, check your notifications to join. I'm sure at this time you're on your way home as a big man like yourself, after a hard day's work. Hi, Mimi, how you doing?
I'm good. You?
Great. How's your week going? I hear some chopping going on. Are you putting some, are you doing some culinary skirmishes over there?
I'm killing somebody's vegetable.
Interesting. Okay. I see. Let me see. Trying to bring Jennifer up. Jenny, if you can hear. Okay, great. Jenny, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
I'm great. Are you sure you're okay? Your voice sounds a little bit.
I have a cold.
Or you went partying over the weekend and lost your voice?
I have a cold.
Okay. That's allowed. Get well soon, right? Okay, Adam was supposed to host, but he's having a bit of technical challenges. So let's just start and then he'll pick it up when he comes. So, isn't it just a nice coincidence that we were discussing something last week, and on Sunday, the president came to say something, and one of the things he said was related to this. Was he listening in? Please, does anyone, if anyone went to Chuk, raise your hand. Jenny, did you go and Chuk? Mimi, how about you? Are you the one who went to Chuk?
Did I go and do it?
Did you go and Chuk?
Chuk what?
You were talking about speculation and the effects of people buying the dollar on our economy last week. And the president was one of the things he spoke about.
That's fine.
So maybe you went to Chuk and said no.
It's just too obvious. It's just too obvious to ignore.
Okay, all right. I see. But did you listen to the whole address?
No, I actually didn't listen. I just read the points, but I didn't listen to the whole address.
Okay. So what did you take of the points? How did you feel after listening to or reading the points? What do you think?
I thought that his speech was empty. And it failed to do what I thought it should do. I didn't listen to the whole thing.
Mimi, you've gone mute? Okay, all right. Well, we circle back to Mimi.
Oh,
Jenny,
sorry.
how about you?
My mind keeps going. Hello?
Yeah, Mimi. Okay, you were saying that
Yes, I was just saying that.
Quite empty.
You said? Yeah, I
said
thought that was empty. I feel like, I feel like he was trying to defend himself or make himself look good and make it look like it's not his fault, blah, 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 blah. I think that what he should have done was to offer encouragement, to accept that these are difficult times, to offer encouragement and to talk about what his government is doing. I mean, something a bit more tangible than what he said. I mean, it was a bit empty with nothing to hold on to. I don't think anybody felt, maybe I may be mistaken, but anybody felt better after listening to that, that speech, personally, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me say she didn't feel better. It was empty. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Jenny, how about you? What was your take on it?
Okay, so before the president announced that he was going to speak, a lot of people were really keen on what Mama was going to say, and people feel like President Akufo-Addo's decision to speak was just because Mahama was giving an address, and it won't augur well for your government if you are keeping quiet and a former president, somebody who is still looking to come back, is speaking and you are not saying anything. So that's why he came to speak. I sort of agree with Mimi because before the speech, they had a 3-day cabinet meeting. They've been having conversations. The economic management team has been meeting. The new 5-member team has been meeting. And they still came out to come and tell us that they are still doing things. And for example, he said that they are still looking at ways and means that they can get cheaper sources of fuel. They can do this, they can do this. And it seems as if they are like, it's now that they are coming to start doing, like, breaking the ground when it comes to looking for serious solutions. But all the meetings that you've been having, what were the outcomes? Like, you didn't discuss anything of tangible solutions that you could have come to tell us or something. So it seemed as if it was, number one, it was just people were asking him to talk, so he came to talk. But he didn't really have anything concrete to give us. But then again, he mentioned that he'll be coming to give us more updates as the time goes on. So we hope that probably the next time he comes to talk to us, he'll have more tangible stuff to tell us than this one. Thank you.
That's interesting. More alignment. That all the meetings that they've been doing, this is all they came to tell us. Nothing concrete coming out of it. That's interesting. Okay. Adam, how about you? What were your thoughts on here? Or in fact, no, let me share my thoughts on this, and then I would hand over the mic to you to continue the show. So for me, when I listened, I thought, you know what? He said what could be said. I think it's not really so much of a matter of talk again, because there really isn't much anyone can say in these times. It's really about what you can do. And there's also not much they can do, in the short term, and the things that they can be done in the short term too, they will take a while for them to make significant impact. So I felt like, he just came to spit facts, say what was true, and just try to encourage people. I did see some attempts that he was making, and for me, what really rang true were two key things, which I'm sure we'll discuss later in this conversation. And I think it was necessary that they address what we were talking about last week on speculation and people buying dollars. I just found it interesting. I do hear the arguments against it, that they're pushing blame, And then the other thing that really hits me was the T-bills. I think that was something that needed saying. That was, if that was all he said during the whole address, I think that address was worthwhile, because it's a message from the top that can help calm some people's nerves, So I think for that alone, I think it was totally worth the spending 1 hour listening to him. Yeah, but that was my take on it. Jenny, you have a thought?
Okay, so the Minister for Information came out after the speech to come and say that the president's what he said on the haircuts was only for principle. So then if you come out to come and clarify something like this, then it begs a question that, so are you considering haircuts on interest? But I just wanted to put this out there. Yeah.
True. And we'll get into those specifics. We'll get into those specifics in a bit. Great. Thank you for drawing attention to that. Adam, over to you.
Hello, Elikem. Hello, everyone. It's been a journey to get back. I don't know what happened.
Boy, you have to buy iPhone. This thing Android is just restarting on you and causing us to be in a state of dismay and confusion.
Oh,
Person won't restart on you like that.
At least it is doing better than the Ghana city, so we'll take it.
Shots fired.
Charlie. Anyway, so honestly, I didn't listen to the address. Like, I think I sort of like had in mind what you were saying, that I didn't really know what was going to be said that has not been said already, and what was going to be said that was going to really change. So it's afterwards that I went to read and all that, because I didn't want to stress myself. But listening to or like recapping, going through the speech and all of that, and the 12 points that were penned down, I didn't get the sense that I don't know whether it's like we don't really fully, or whether it is trying to not scare the market or scare the populace, but I feel there is a bigger problem, but we are addressing it as though it's not that much of a big deal. And also there's a narrative I feel is being perpetuated that unfortunately.
Hello, Adam.
Hello, can you hear me?
You said there's a bigger narrative that is being perpetuated.
No, I mean there's a narrative that's being perpetuated, as though maybe once we sign up to a fund program, then it's like everything will be okay, but I feel the fund program is just going to probably in the short term bring some form of stability, but I feel there's a lot of hard work that will have to be done to be able to get us back on track. Even the president, I think one key takeaway for me was the horizon of up to 2028. And I feel then that if we are looking at up to 2028 to bring our debt levels, which is the main driving factor of all the chaos and the run on the CD and all that, I think that it will not be the only solution. Like there has to be more that will be done before we will get back onto stability, and then we'll have some semblance of maybe starting to grow at better rates and all of that. So for me, those were the things that I was looking out for. Beyond, it seems as if everything has been anchored to a fund program, and beyond that, what are we going to do? What if we don't land a fund program within the shortest possible time, as they seem to be pushing the narrative that, by the end of the year, there will be a staff level agreement and all that. But how about the board approval? How long will it take? And all of those things. So for me, those are the things that didn't make me feel assured at all, honestly. But it's good he addressed and tried to assuage our fears. But I think in trying to do that, like Jenny raised the issue about the haircuts. That was a bit, for me, a confusing part. When you say there is no haircut, and then now you say there is not, like haircuts is maybe limited to principals, probably interests or time, I don't know. So those are, for me, the things that I took out of it. Thanks.
That's interesting. Wow. So I'm the only one, out of the four of us, I'm the only one with a bit of a positive twist to this thing. Hey, Charlie. It's hard. It's hard to stay positive in these times. But yeah. Adam, back to you, your show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so thanks, Elikem, for holding the fort until now. Yeah. So, well, we are looking at, as we have started our initial thoughts and everything. Mimi, what do you think concerning, like, flowing from the address and all that is going on? What do you think our attitude or the direction is in terms of treasury bills and probably government bonds and all of that? Mimi, you're muted.
If I may jump in, and then Jennifer was referring to this. So the way I understood what he was saying, sometimes you have to listen to what people are not saying. He said that people will not lose their money. In the investment parlance, if you say you won't lose your money, it can be understood that you are talking about the person's principal. You invested X and you won't lose your money. You can't lose. So it's leaving the opportunity for the interest portion to be, massaged in any way. Either you lose it or you lose some, or, it still leaves that option open. Plus, he did set the precedent. He did talk about how it will be handled at worst. It will be handled the way when financial institutions were closed down. They handled that. No one lost their money. So at least it gives some what's it called? Some clarity on the direction. It doesn't mention interest, so I expect that, we shouldn't be surprised, or not that I expect. I won't be surprised when such a plan eventually comes out and we are seeing people losing some of their interest, and I think that would be fair. In these times, in times like this, everyone is suffering. You can't expect that you walk out of this thing whole plus profits. I think a whole is fine, but profits too, Charlie, remember that it's all taxpayers' money that will go back to paying these T-bills anyway. So it was reasonable. That's my take. Jenny, what do you think? Oh, and sorry, let me just add. Jenny, sorry, let me just add. And I hear people saying that it sounds like the Minister of Information was contradicting, but this understanding and this example he gave, I really don't think it's contradicting, so yeah, that's just what I wanted to add. Jenny, please go ahead.
Okay, so I think that for a president to come and say something and leave another part a little bit ambiguous is, excuse me for saying this, but misleading, because you are sort of the voice. You are giving a quote-unquote State of the Nation's address, and you are telling us that treasury bills are safe because people were afraid of haircuts, and you are telling us that we will not, and there will be no haircuts going in the future, in the near future. So, and bear in mind that the Security and Exchange Commission has also come to announce that mutual funds or collective investment schemes should start a new valuation method, which is the fair value method or the mark-to-market method. A lot of people, I think, Stanbic sort of did the thing earlier this week, and then there was a whole hula baloo around it. So if you come out to say this, and already mutual funds are currently not so attractive because every investor going in knows that my money can, let's say the value of my investments can drastically reduce because of the current times we are in. You are driving investor attraction towards treasury bills with what you're saying. So I think that it should be really clear for us to know if we are going to get interest haircut, principal haircut, or no haircut at all. Because if you are driving attraction towards treasury bills and then we find out later that you left something out, I think it will really be bad for us. So then I think that they should really come out with a statement if the president will come out in his next statement to let us know clearly what he meant by that, so that nobody will be saying that this person is misleading us, blah, blah, blah. In our current situation, I don't think we should leave anything to chance. Yeah. So that's my response to Elikem's statement.
Okay, Elikem, you have a point to make.
Yeah. This one, the lawyers will say what?
Cross-examination.
When you cross-examine somebody and then you want to come back, how do they do that one? I've forgotten the right term, but let me
re-examination.
Or I guess. So, Jenny, this is my take on it. I see two benefits to what he said. Or not two benefits, but two main points to it. One, I think the address was necessary. There was a lot of going on. And with nothing being confirmed, it was all fueling people that ran on the banks and people going to withdraw, which was further triggering some of these bond sales and all the things that was going on. You understand? I think, and you have a closer look at the data, but looking at the trend of FX, the CD's the value of the dollar against the CD, it seems things got a little better after the conversation, after the speech. Jenny, can you confirm that?
It was before the speech. It started from Thursday and it continued when it came out that he may be sacking the finance minister.
Okay. Pardon me. Okay, interesting. Okay. All right. So, okay, so the data doesn't back this, right? But I'm thinking anecdotally, right? When there's a lot of noise, a lot of rumors in the public space without an official confirmation or even without an official word, I feel like it does more harm than the president actually coming and saying something about it, if not even nothing. And I'll compare the situation during COVID, Ghana versus Nigeria. The Nigerians were actually saying, look, or some Nigerians were actually comparing our situations and saying it's better than their president who they weren't hearing from. You see, and the next part of it is, as he was saying something, he did clarify one thing. These things have to do with, or he did provide some information. These things have to do with negotiations. They are going to negotiate with the various parties. The agreements haven't been set. The terms haven't been set. But he has, with what he said, he has set a floor. In fact, if we were to actually analyze the thing proper, you'd realize that he was talking about even just domestic institutions and domestic individuals. So what about the foreigners? That's a story for another day, another thing not said. But he was setting a floor under his negotiations, so that as all these processes are going on, he's leaving us rest assured that this part is sorted. It's true that we don't have a full agreement, a full decision, a full directive, but at least what we do know, the non-negotiable terms he has laid out to kind of put some floor under people. I know many people who had wanted to go and withdraw their T-bills. Spoken to some of them this week, and they are like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to withdraw the T-bill again. At least if I'm not losing my principal, I'm kind of okay. You get the idea. So I think that's better than the radio silence, So that's where I disagree. I see Paulina had been asking us about these things, and I see her hand up. Shall we invite her?
Yeah. Let's Paulina kindly unmute, and if it's a contribution or a question, let's hear you. You are muted, Paulina.
Hello, Adam. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So, Elegant, I'm still looking through my Joy Online, their Twitter feed, but there was a news item about Kojo Nkrumah saying again that whilst a haircut on the principal is off the table, a haircut could be on the interest. But again, the question I was asking is that if I am supposed to get my money in, say, at the end of the year, and then the bank tells me that, oh, we can't give you the money at the end of the year. We'll give it to you in March 2023. Is that still not a loss of money, like time value of money? We have not even talked about inflation. That's a separate thing altogether. But is that not also another form of haircut? So for me, those are all the issues that we really need to look at. And then again, you talk about the fact that they really have not concluded the negotiations. So is the president trying to tie the hands of the IMF or what with this announcement? Because like we discussed, with this emphatic statement, what happens when people have to take a haircut on, say, their interest? What happens? Will it be that then the president has lied or what? You get what I mean? So those are all the dynamics that I look at. And with regards to the interest rates also, the forex rates also, I am finding out that the Bank of Ghana is given a certain range.
Oh, Paulina,
yes.
Pardon me, I don't mean to cut you off. Can we finish the T-bill side there before we go to the FX side of things?
Let me just put it out there, and so I don't forget, please. Let me just put it out there. So my experience is that whilst the Bank of Ghana gives a certain range, on Monday, I did a transaction and I was charged about 15.7 to the dollar. When BOG says that it should be between 13 points, it's not per the BOG rate, it wasn't even up to 13.5. So like All of those are things that officialdom is saying something else, and the financial institutions themselves are doing something else. Those are the things that I am thinking about. And I think that it goes into the conversation about the T-bills again also, because the banks are saying something else, like the mutual funds are saying something else, the banks that do mutual funds are saying something else, and then officialdom is also saying something else. So it brings a lot of uncertainty in the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. Well, okay, so we will address the forex parts in our next round, but for now, we just want to circle back on the issue of the haircuts or no haircuts and the directions of treasury bills and government securities. So, Mimi, we've not heard from you. Hello, Mimi.
Hi, Adam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the direction of treasury bills flowing from what the president talked about no haircuts on and the subsequent clarification that it's no haircuts on principals and all that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you expect him to say? When you are broke, you need more money. So if you go and say that, you are not able to pay, or there'll be more haircuts or whatever, people won't bring money. And if you look at treasury bill rate, for me, I felt that if we want to start repairing this, I'm no economist, or I haven't done any technical analysis of the situation, but I felt that maybe to deal with this situation, we need to start looking at current interest rates, at least on new treasury bills, that, okay, let's reduce it. Because now no one, okay, I won't say no one, people are more interested in the ability to get their funds plus whatever they were promised than high interest rates that they are not sure whether the money will come or not. So why are we still giving 30% in it? I feel like it's to lure people to bring their money, and then eventually they would, I don't know what they would do. So I feel like he wasn't being truthful because they need money. He could have been a bit more upfront and tell us that, look, guys, we are in dark times, we are in difficult times, and as citizens, this is the sacrifice we have to, I don't know, something, rather than throwing dust in our eyes and saying that there'll be no haircut, and then someone else come to say there'll be, haircuts and all that. And now, like, all the problems are mixed together. People are even confused. With this whole mutual fund, people are even confused. Is this haircut that they don't even know that this has to do with another issue altogether and has nothing to do with any haircut, so all the problems have mixed up and is causing a lot of havoc in the system. So I think that he was playing with words so that he could get investors to be a bit more comfortable with buying treasury bills so that they can get money to do whatever it is. But the truth is that those who are savvy will always go beyond what you say. They'll look at the numbers, they'll do the analysis, and if it doesn't make sense, they are still not going to invest anyway. So I mean, for me, that those are my thoughts. I think that he should have been clearer that as Ghanaians, this is what we are going to, this is what we need to sacrifice, blah blah blah. Maybe we can give you treasury bills at a lower interest. And the thing is that there aren't so many alternatives on the market anyway. People are why are they taking their money to? There aren't a lot of alternatives. So we might as well take some of these decisions rather than issuing bills at 30 and you can't sustain it.
Elikem, I think you want to make a point.
Yes. On first, when we started, I thought you said you're not an economist, but this idea that you are bringing about how lowering treasury bill, how would they lower the treasury bill? But when I took a pause and actually listened, and then you see that lately Mimi has been eating something or something. She's been very prophetic, spitting only bars. Bars only. No, and Jenny, I'll tap into you to join in on this idea. Yeah, think about it. Imagine if we could actually have a higher tier of T-bills. That the government will come out and say, okay, guess what? We know that there's a lot of hoo-ha going on. But we are going to issue T-bills at half the interest rate or even 10, 12% when everybody's doing 30%. But no matter what you do, no matter what happens, we will not default this particular one. No, even if it means we'll sell our last shoes, we'll give it to you, we'll give you your money. Jenny, what do you think?
Nobody will buy it, number one. But if you are saying that they are going to still look for a way to refinance their debt, even though nobody's going to buy a treasury bill at, let's say, 15%, then it's Bank of Ghana that is going to print money or something, but it's not going to come from the government of Ghana, the president's pockets. The 30% is as far as you go.
Jennifer, if you buy, speak for yourself.
Jenny, I don't think nobody will buy it. If people can buy. Hello?
No, please continue.
Can you hear me? Yeah, if people can buy insurance as investment, why wouldn't people buy it? Maybe what you want to
shots
maybe
fired,
the institutional investors.
So interest rates are a component of inflation and then risk premium.
No, I understand though. But this is for those of us who, of course, the people who buy it mostly are the institutional investors. So they would do all that. But I still think that people will buy. It won't be nobody. Some people will still buy. I still think that. Because what are the alternatives? Really think about it. What are the alternatives? People call me, they want to take their money giddy giddy. Where are you taking it to? I don't know.
Okay, Jenny and then Eliken.
I was just going to say the banks have those are great. So if we are talking about alternatives, they have an alternative. Maybe not retail investors, but the banks do.
Okay. Yeah, Eliken.
Okay. Mimi, can you please mute? And then also, actually, I think there's a precedent for such an action to be taken. So among Ghana's Eurobonds, one of them, I think that's the 2030, the yield on that one is not as high as the other ones. I mean, the interest rates that if you want, the current interest rate on that one is not as high as the other ones because it has a certain World Bank, a partial World Bank guarantee. Jennifer, is that still the case? Is it still showing a lower interest rate?
Yes.
Jennifer, so are you think you see the matter? There's actually some kind, if we can find a way to give people extra assurance for this new one, there's a precedent. Also, I think that if I look at, let's say, somewhere like America, where we can have the government fall on nationalistic, what's it called? Sentiments to issue such a thing where we say, look, the world, they are trying to make us overpay for our treasury bonds, but we want to reverse it. And it all comes from a point of, guys, let's all accept to take less. So please lend us the money. Let's go and pay off those people quickly before they try and charge us too much, because these high interest rates is only if the government is going to issue new bonds, so if they are retired, all the ones that they have to pay off that are maturing, if they can get it at low interest rates, it will help. And call it the Ghana. These people, they can come up with nice names for these bonds. We come up with a special T-bill, a special bond. Ghana Patriot bond or something. I think in the US, in some war times, they've been able to raise bonds and stuff in some many years in the past. So if we can tap into those sentiments, it will be possible. But well, this is just wishful thinking. The economists will think otherwise.
Of course, the economists will think otherwise. When Jennifer was saying nobody would, I don't know why for some reason I said we need to be there to support. Don't worry.
See, even us now, they have supporters. Then such an idea, and I'm saying this as an Arsenal fan.
The money in Arsenal. Are you invested in Arsenal or you're just following them?
I'm just following them, but my emotions are a very serious investment. Try. What do you mean?
Anyway, so we want to move on, and so closely linked to this, I think Jenny mentioned it. I think Mimi also mentioned the issue about the mark to market and the changes that have come to some investment companies, their statements and their way of valuation. Can we explain to the audience, let people understand what this whole mark to market? Somebody was asking me, what is this whole thing? What is this whole thing? Like, so I think we'll start with Elikem.
Okay, great. Listen, I need us to for us to properly understand mark to market, we need to start thinking a little differently about how we think about investments. Okay. The normal investments that everyone is used to, like treasury bills, bank fixed deposits, you have your principal and you have your interest. All you know is in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, you come for your money back and then you take your interest. But now, let's focus on that principal part. The interest that you'll be getting it, let's put the interest away. We are not talking about interest again when we are talking about mark to market. Okay, good. Now, the principal part, imagine that principal is a piece of land or a house that you've bought. Okay, you buy a bond that you want. This is a 5-year bond that will mature in 5 years. Okay, you buy it at, let's say, 10,000 cedis, and the interest rate on it was, at the time you bought it, was 20%. That's fine. 2 years down the line, you said you wait for your money to be you wait for 5 years before you collect your money. 2 years down the line, you said that no, you've seen some nice car that you want to buy, or you want to go and buy iPhones, or you want to go and buy what's it called, face shields to come and sell even now. So you want your money back. At this point, you see that interest rates change, and I'm sure we are all familiar with the treasury bills. Whenever you go, every week it's a different treasury bill, so it gives you a sense that interest rates always change. This time with the bonds, when you want your money, you don't go back to the government. The government's original agreement is they took 10,000 cedis from someone, and that they will pay back in 5 years the 10,000 to someone. If you want to sell your bond, you have to go to the marketplace. So a new concept. There's a marketplace for people who have bonds. Okay. So you go there, instead of buying and selling tomatoes and ginger and onions, this time we are selling bonds. For you to get your money back for the bond at this particular time, we are seeing that times are hard. Ghana is risky. The interest rates are going up. So the bond that you paid 10,000 for 2 years ago, right now, it is worthless because it's too risky. So you have to take a discount. You have to reduce the price. There's no one will buy it, you see. So in that case, you realize that instead of getting back your original 10,000, and again, I said, we are not talking about the interest here because you've been getting your interest. They pay every 6 months. You've been getting that one. That one is okay. But instead of you getting your 10,000 now in current times, you have to say, okay, fine, I'll take 9,000. You at least half a loaf is better than none. 9,000 or 8,000. So the value will go down. You see, that's what's happening in these times. Now, to bring it closer to the mutual funds, what's going on with the mutual fund space is that interest rates have changed, and even in some cases, some of these mutual funds have to go and sell the bonds and to provide the cash for people to do their withdrawals. You see, when you buy the mutual fund, they'll use that money to go and buy these bonds. And if you want your money back, the money is locked up in the bond, so they'll have to sell. On a normal day, when everything was okay, people were depositing, so they always had cash to pay out, and then interest was coming on a regular basis. They could use that to pay out. But now the deposits are not as many, and the interest is not enough because there are so many withdrawal requests. Many more people than normal are withdrawing. So now they have to go and sell the bonds, the investments that they had. And they are realizing that because things have gotten worse, for them to be able to get the money back from the bonds, they have to sell it at lower prices. So you see that the values are going down. But then you ask yourself, but me, I'm not withdrawing. That's how it is with mutual funds. We all got in, it's like coming together with a group of 10, 20 people to do an investment together. You all share the risk, you all share the profit. So you share the risk. As people have to go out and we have to sell things at losses, everybody will bear that risk or the loss in that. More specifically, you would say that because I'm not withdrawing, or even if no one is withdrawing, why are they saying that we should do mark to market? Mark to market is just saying that every day the mutual funds, they value their investments so that they can tell people the value of their statements every day. If you have any of these such mutual funds, they would, and whenever you ask for your statement, you see they always give a price. Good. They are saying that they should change the way they do their accounting. They do how they calculate the value to reflect what's going on today. So that it will be as if you were to sell today, what would be the value of your investment that you can walk away with? Even though you are not taking it out, we have to value it like that. Because if we did it the normal way where we kept everything as if you wouldn't withdraw and then we were keeping it at the original value, you're seeing 10,000 instead of bringing it down to 8,000. When you want to do a withdrawal, suddenly we tell you that, oh, your money has gone down by 20% or 10%, and you didn't like that shock. So they want to, on a daily basis, show you that these are the changes. This, if you want your money today, this is a more realistic value that you'll be getting from your investment. So that's what the mark to market means, and I think that's why they are doing it. Jenny, have I left anything out?
Jennifer, you're mute.
Really nice.
Oh, okay, good. I've been practicing this week. I've been explaining these things. Interesting. So I think Paulina had a related question that she asked earlier. So I'll take this time to
so let me ask this question that has come to mind now also, please, if that works. Yeah. So the mark to market, will it be a permanent feature, or it's just a stopgap measure for a few months or years, or that is how things will be from now on?
Paulina, the assembly bar. This
Erika, you know that me, I am learning. Whilst all of you are finance people, me, I have no idea what you're talking about. So
no problem.
It's a lot of learning for me.
It's the journalist asking the very important questions. But it's so mark to market on a normal day. In fact, in the US, it is the way most funds go. It's the way most funds go. They give you the current value. Okay, it will go up, come down. But see, I think that I don't know if it's here to stay. There were instructions from the SEC. It didn't come out into the public, but there were instructions from the SEC, which I think that's why these funds are making these decisions. They said that this is the way it should go until further notice. I think that would be the case for a while. And anyone who doesn't want to do it that way would just have to, any fund managers that don't want to do it that way will have to give the regulators justification why they don't think they should implement it. But whether it's the right thing or not, maybe that's not your question, but accounting policies actually allow for you to do it one way or the other, as long as you have good justification. If it's to persist into the future, I think that it's a double-edged sword. The negative side of it is Ghanaians don't appreciate risk, if you ask me. And this is after 7 years of being in the investment industry in Ghana. Ghanaians don't like risk. Whenever a Ghanaian gives money to a financial institution or a bank, anything that has to do with your financial institution, they expect their money back with the interest. No opportunity for risk. And we've actually been rewarded for that for so many years. High interest rates on the T-bills. When we experience a proper risk event in Ghana, the government bailed everybody out. Instead of saying that, well, maybe you should have made a better choice about where you put your money. You get what I'm saying? So we are not used to facing risk. So investments these mutual funds, they are touted to be safe because most of their investment, 70 to 100% of their investment is in government bonds anyway. A benefit you get is you can't do a 20-year bond because you'll be sticking around for just 3 months, 6 months. But you get to benefit if the fund manager does that. If you are going to start telling people who have safe mind that they will come and be seeing their money go up, down, up, down, up, down, like the way it does with shares, Charlie, it will be hard. It will be hard for Ghanaians to want to continue investing in mutual funds. On the other hand, I said it was a double-edged sword. The good part about it is I think it's about time Ghanaians started appreciating risk and return when it comes to money. things happen in life. Nothing is guaranteed. So you need to understand that for you to earn some return, you need to put in some risk. You need to open yourself up to some risk. In the US, you would be very lucky to get a return of like 3%. You get what I'm saying? You'll be very lucky to get 3% from a guaranteed source, like a government, the US government. No. It is rare, So we get these free lunches, and we are starting to make it a norm. But if we start practicing this, hopefully it can tune our minds right. But yeah, the instruction just say effectively till further notice or until it's changed. So it is here to stay, safe to say. Paulina, does that answer your question?
Yes, please, it does.
Okay.
But then again, it brings to mind, you see, the way we think about communication in this country, it leaves a lot to be desired, because then there are so many questions. Like sometimes I'm thinking, why do we communicate in house when it could be done fully, so that there are no ambiguities about a lot of things? Do you get what I mean? But Charlie, it is what it is.
Paulina, I think that's where we say that's your area. Why do we communicate like that? It's something I struggle with even socially, ambiguity, people who don't communicate properly. But it's a story for another day. Maybe I'll jump onto a space where you and your people are in the communications and public speaking areas and journalism are speaking about that, and come event there too. But Adam, if I may just hog the mic for a little while longer.
Sure.
Thank you. So Paulina asked a question earlier about how is it linked? How is this thing going on with the mutual funds linked to what the president is saying about no haircut, right? Because it sounds very opposite. Let's assume that we understand that it is no haircut on principle, and that's what he's saying right now. Of course, he can come and change his mouth later. But let's assume that that's the motion. Okay, fine. So why are the mutual funds now changing their mind? You see, when the government, if you take, let's say, a treasury bill, if you buy it on the day that it's issued, it's usually you put in your money and then Friday they go for auction and then they take the money out of your account, either Friday or Monday. Then you have to wait 91 days, 182 days, or 1 year to get your money back. Those transactions from beginning and end it's between you and government. So government took your money, government will give back your money. But with these bonds, that's the mutual and even the treasury bills, anytime you want to break your investments in between, I'm not sure how every bank does it. Maybe Brian would pop up if I say something that's contrary to how some commercial banks do it. But there's usually an intermediary that says, okay, you want to discount, no problem. Well, I will take the money, I'll take the investment off your hands and give you a portion of your money. That's how sometimes when you do a discount on a treasury bill, you can lose part of your interest. And sometimes if the timing is not good, you can even lose part of your principal. There's that situation. Is the impact of this is seen bigger with the bonds, because for 5 years, you can't go back to the government and say, government, now I said I'll do 5 years, but I've done only 2 years, give me my money. No, they'll tell you that there's a secondary market. There are people who, instead of selling tomatoes and onions, they sell bonds. They buy and sell bonds. Go to them and go and ask somebody for their money. Or it's like you coming to me and saying that you have a bond. Government won't give me the money, so am I ready to buy it? It's like that. And that's where most of the investments in government of Ghana happens. Because the government doesn't issue bonds every week. 91-day treasury bill, 182-day treasury bill, every week, constant. But for the longer bonds, it's not like that. You see, it's once in a while. So if you have money and you want to invest, you can't sit around waiting for the government to raise a bond. You go to the secondary market, see who is ready to buy and sell. So it's really, the president was talking about the primary market between you and the government. But the mutual funds, they also operate mainly, especially if you want to withdraw ahead of time, is going to be on the secondary market. In the secondary market, things are happening in real time, and then and you will feel the pinch immediately you are selling. And that's why those rules are different, and is different from what the president is saying. Paulina, is that a bit clearer?
Charlie, we are teacher Wati. You have really done well. Now I get it. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. I think Jenny also wants to add on.
No, so I'm...
Oops, we missed Jenny. Jenny, are you there? Okay, well, okay, Adam, back to you. Thank you for allowing me to hug the mic while we wait for Jenny.
Sure. But that was a good lecture. I mean, when are you going to start your school?
I've already started my school. Maybe when did we start our school? We started our school what a year ago in April, and that school is called Convos. So please keep tuning in. Okay, please keep tuning in. Jenny, sorry, the line broke off. Can you come again?
Okay. Did you lose me?
Did I?
Did you hear me when I was speaking?
Not at all.
Okay. So I was saying that, don't you think...
Oh boy, we lost Jenny again. I'll text her in the background. Adam, please, back to you.
My internet is acting up. I think later on I'll type it or something.
Okay, all right.
Okay, sure. Right. So we will be wrapping up soon, and but we've gone through all these haircuts. Talked about back to market, talked about so many expectations and whether met by the president's speech and all of those things. Now we just want to wind down briefly. We want to ask ourselves that, do you think that the IMF program is enough to solve our problem? Elikem, that will leave you to start the discussion. Jennifer,
let me allow other people to.
Oh, Paulina.
Let me bring Mimi back up.
Yeah, please bring Mimi back up. But I would like to hear from Paulina. Paulina, based on all what you've heard and even from all the discussions, what you have read, you are not an economist, but like myself, I'm also not a finance person, but we are discussing that for money, it affects everybody. So what do you think? Do you think an IMF program is enough to help us? Paulina, if you're speaking, you are muted. It's like people's internet are acting up now.
Bro, this thing sounds like last week. You see, last week, some people were trying to say certain things, and then the technology was not allowing. Then the president gave a speech related to this. Maybe very soon, maybe this weekend today will be another one related to something we are saying here. I'm just saying.
Jennifer.
I'd like to go first.
Jennifer,
the IMF. So I think we've been going to the IMF for a while. We just came back from IMF, I think 2017 or 2019. So we've been sitting at that table for a very long time. Personally, I think it's a band-aid. It's a knee-jerk reaction. We go there, they solve our problems for a very short while. Then when they hand the economy back to us, then we do what we want, then we go back to them. It's like a revolving door, a cycle. This government, when they were coming, said they were never going to go to the IMF, but here we are. I don't think that... I think the IMF has good... let's say when they come to their debt service ratios and let's say how the government is able to service their debts, pay interest, pay principal, are their debt sustainable, making sure that everything that the government is supposed to be, like the government pays, is supposed to do to make sure that longevity is assured, they do it. But when they hand it over back to us, it's when the problem comes. So I don't think this is going to really assuage our problems. When they go, we'll be back to where we were at first. If anything is going to solve our problems, I think it's the structural things that we already know, that we should be looking at, like very serious solutions to them. So that it's like when the IMF comes, we really restrict ourselves. And then when they go, it's like, oh, they are gone now, we can really spend. And then we are back to square one. So if we can still be able to maintain that discipline that they sort of force on us, and then still do all of those things, then we'll be in a better position to not be going for band-aid solutions and all of that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Elikem, I think we'll come back to you.
Yes, everything Jennifer said, plus just one more point. I think that I'm for some weird reason, I'm more optimistic than I should be, than the normal person is about, the economy and all things. Because I feel like all this shall pass, and there are certain cycles to these things, okay? But because of that, I think that, because of my optimism, I feel like going to the IMF going to the IMF, it sends a certain signal. See, the things that we see on the market is not just real things, there's speculation. And we sort of ignore speculation. But I think speculation is quite a significant chunk of what happens. Maybe 5%, maybe 10% or 20%, but it's still there. And if you can shave it off, we'll have less of a problem. When you indicate that you are going to IMF, it's a good sign. It calms the markets down. And by the markets, I'm saying the people who have big money that they move things. You understand? And your credit reference ratings have a chance of going down because you do certain things on paper. And this is one of the reasons why in the early parts of this government's tenure, again, not aligned to any political party, but people were saying that these people care so much about the numbers, the indicators. Going to IMF is one good sign because they also focus on the metrics. So they will put you back in shape with the metrics. All your metrics may be fine and your people can't get 3 square meals in a day. Legit, those people looking on their terminals really don't care. All they care about is these metrics. And so I think it can help calm certain things down. Last week, people were saying that, they can't do so much about the foreign exchange rates because they are just buying some $50, $100. Don't worry. The people who are going to buy the hundreds of millions of dollars, they listen to these kind of things. And I feel like these kind of moves can calm down the market and we would be fine in the short term. It won't solve the entire problem, but it's better than nothing. And also there's the real, apart from the speculatory, there's the real. It's just sad that we need other people to come and whip us into shape to make us do all the things that our PhD holders and all who are in various parts of government, civil servants and all of those people, they know what they should do. Yet they'll mess it up and then they'll wait to go to someone else to come and tell them to do the same things they know that they should do. And then guess what? They organize so many meetings, have so many per diems, sorry, it's now becoming a rant. But yeah, I think it's okay. Thank you.
Elike, a good one there. But I think what I get from what you said, okay, and general discussion, and even Paulina mentioned it, I feel communication or lack of it, has played a major role in where we are today. Like, when a crisis, I keep saying that when a crisis starts, several other smaller crises kickstart and then compound the problem and make it even worse than it was. Okay, so I feel there was a missed opportunity to communicate. Okay, and because once there runs on the banks and there runs on because how did we let a WhatsApp message in that case circulate to this extent and there was really no reaction like a forceful reaction to calm people's nerves? They had to wait until just just last Sunday for the president to now assure people that you won't have a haircut. I feel part of the problem is communication, and if we had regular communication, honest communication, not just trying to do PR, but like to be real and to be honest, like Mimi said, at a point we might just say, look, the way it is, this is how it is, okay. And but going forward, these are the steps we are taking, and we believe that these steps will help to bring us out and just to calm people. And in fact, sika and dede, because you see, when there was more dede, everybody was moving their money to go and buy dollars. So once people were uncertain about their principles and their interests and everything, you see there was a run on there. Me, I've just decided to shut my mind off. I have not requested a statement from EDC and Fidelity. I just don't want to have any stresses because I've been dealing with a lot of stress already. So I've just shut my mind off all these things. But in real, there's real pressure from a lot of people, and people are going out there to withdraw because they're not sure and they don't know what to do. And the communication kept too long in coming. But I hope that going forward, there will be more structured and tailored communication to help to assuage, not necessarily just to look good, but to be real with us, and then let's see how we are going forward. Once you at least know that you are taking some concrete steps and you are going in a certain direction, it gives you some assurance and some comfort. And then I'm sure the markets will be calm. We know the markets, there are some people who will be illogical. That is normal. But normal, rational people too are also emotional beings. So once they are not sure about certain things, they will take action in the opposite direction and it will not help. So I feel we really need to look at that and it should help us. Okay, so that's my 2 cents. So we circle back. We'll end with Paulina's question on the FX issue. And I think, Eli, now will fall back to you. Me, I'm not an expert too.
Thank you. It's a good question Paulina has asked, and I encourage all Ghanaians to be as curious and inquisitive as Paulina has been. At least, on the Money Convos platform, she's been asking a bunch of questions, very good questions, basic questions that we should all be asking. And I'm having a conversation in the background with other people in the banking, and they are echoing the same thing. When it comes to banking in Ghana and investments, all people care about is, what is my interest rate? You understand? I know we are talking about FX, but I'll explain something and circle back. Is because people don't want to go the extra mile to understand how things work. So all they want to hear is, how much will my money grow? That's all. Interest rates. Let's be more curious. Let's try to understand certain things. Let's go beyond just what's at face value and the simple anecdote that people have said. Sometimes when we have experts trying to explain things to us, they will make it a book long. Like you are too by the book. You are being too complicated. Yes, it's true. Some of us, our language is it doesn't sound so palatable to the lay person. So we need to work on that. Again, communication. But at least draw closer to those people to try and hear what they have to say. This FX thing is good that we understand it and understand the different types of FX rates there are. So you see, Bank of Ghana will come up with a rate, and it's called the interbank rate. That's how much the rates that the various banks will be trading with each other and with the Bank of Ghana in foreign currencies, between Ghana and other foreign currencies. You understand? Then there's how much they will trade with us, the general public. That's on their boards when you go to their banking hall. Think about it as if you are a trader. You buy and sell goods in the market. Let's say you sell needle. When you are dealing with, let's say you are Nestle. Nestle will sell needle to, let's say, the biggest distributors at a certain price, which is way lower than me and you will get. So imagine that's the FX rate, and you usually see that it's lower. So that's one level to think about it. Then next, we have the distributors who would be maybe selling to big shops. They will have a price and they'll be adding some markup on it. They will add a little extra on top of it, you see. So if you hear Nestle sells needle to people, the major distributors at a certain price, you don't expect to get that same price, okay? So that's like the BOG rate. Then the bank rate, when you go to the banking hall, they usually post on their boards buying and selling. If you have cedis and you want to buy dollars, look on the selling side. Whatever you read, whether it's buying or selling, read it as if it's the bank that is talking to you. If the buying, you see the bank will buy your dollar. If it's selling, the bank will sell dollar to you. That's how you should read it. So whatever rate you do, you as a person working into the bank know that you're going to get a worse rate. If you are trying to sell dollars, they'll give you the lower one. If you are trying to buy dollars, they'll give you the higher one, more expensive for you. Anyway, so that's the rate. But even that rate that you see on the board, my private wealth clients, they wouldn't even get charged those rates. They'll get a lower rate. The more money you have, the more negotiation power you have to get a lower rate. You see. Then we have the forex bureaus, which are even usually higher than the banks, and that one varies. And then we have the black market. What are they called? The Alajis and Co. You understand? Those who meet you under some tree or in front of some place, if you know what I mean. Their rates too are a bit different. So it's good that we understand all these different levels of FX rates and understand their motivations and understand that everybody is adding. The lower the chain you go, the more profits people are trying to add. Everybody's adding a layer of profit, a layer of profit. Then, Paulina, you mentioned something. You said you did a transaction. The transaction, what was the nature? Was it a bank transfer, or you used your ATM card, your Visa or MasterCard to do that transaction? Paulina, are you there? Okay. In the absence of this, so depending on how you are doing the transaction, if you go to your bank and initiate a transaction directly with them, chances are they would use their own rate. But if you use your Visa card, your MasterCard to do a transaction online or pay for anything through any app, your best bet is, if it's a Visa card, you see these things on your card, go to visa.com. If it's MasterCard, go to MasterCard's website. They'll give you indicative rates, because the FX rate you get is not just the normal FX rate, but they also add their transaction fees, which can be 1%, 2%. So that further increases the FX rate. So for me, usually I do, if I'm going to use a Visa card, I can go to the Visa website and they'll tell you it's effective on a certain day. But if I'm not too sure which card I'll use, or I'm just doing an estimation, I just go on Google. Usually what you see on Google is not too far from what your transaction will be. Maybe add some 2-3% for transaction charges, and you get what you'll be paying for on the online transactions. So that's one way to check. Okay, so I see that Paulina is also hinting me that the range is about 2.71%. You see, we would be looking at absolute numbers, but right now that the denominator or the numbers we are talking about are already huge. We are talking 11-12%. It's way higher. So then absolute numbers will be much higher. When we were dealing with small numbers, 3 cedis, 4 cedis, 5 cedis, the absolute numbers were smaller, maybe 0.5, maybe 1. But now, because the whole number is now bigger, we are talking in terms of in the teens, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The spread, the difference between the BOG rate will be higher than the what you end up doing at the what's it called, at the Forex Bureau, or doing in your online transactions. So just expect that the gap will start becoming wider and wider, just because 2%, or let's say 10% of 10 is different from 10% of 1. So it just ranges like that, and these things will happen. So just know where you are doing your transaction and what you can expect from them. Paulina dropped off, but I hope that answers the question and sheds more light for anyone who was curious about why the different FX rates are quoted.
Thank you, Elkem. I think that explains it a bit. Okay, but I think, like somebody said, just jokingly, they said the Bank of Ghana has the rate, but Awuchi has the dollar. So
that's a good one. Oh, I like this line.
So we move. Anyway, so we are bringing our space tonight to a close briefly. But before we go, do make sure that you're following us on all our social media handles, on IG, on Facebook, here on Twitter. Follow Money Convos. We have money discussions without any strings attached. I'm sure today you have really learned a lot, as we have been discussing about issues ranging from that came out as a result of the president's speech and his address to the nation, and all the matters arising. So please do well to follow us and keep in touch. And if there are any questions you still want to be addressed, Elikem's DM is open. Our DM is open. You can send a message, and I'm sure we will be able to help you. And if we can't, we'll direct the very source where you can get the best answers from. Yeah, and then finally, also we have our savings challenge that we have been embarking on for a while now. Today is day 63. If you have been faithfully participating, by now you should have 2,016 Ghana cedis towards our Christmas savings challenge, which is for us to save and then chill without guilt during Christmas. The whole idea is that we don't want to spend outside our budget, and especially now, Charlie, the budget is not budgeting, but at least you still have to save and make sure that you don't get out of get in a very terrible situation come December. Then also finally, please do follow our sister group, the Investment Friend, on Instagram. They have very, very wonderful content which is tailored towards young ladies especially, but everyone, please do well to follow them, and then I'm sure you would learn a thing or two as you follow them. They post very, very, very wonderful financial information for everyone to learn. So I think that would be all. Or is there anything else?
Yeah, Adam, I wanted to share the link to the article we are reading for next week.
Yeah. Please do.
Which button do I click on? I'm not so Twitter
okay. Like what you should do is that tweet it.
Okay.
Tweet the link. Well, that's how I've been doing it. Tweet the link. Okay. Have you tweeted it?
Yes, I've tweeted it.
Then you go to the share button on the tweet. Then I think when you go to the share button, you see Money Convos space. The space will show up.
Nice. Thank you very much. So yes, there's a new link up top. Next week that will be the article we'll be discussing. So just click on the link in that tweet so that you can join in on our conversation. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So that was initially what we wanted to discuss today, but we are doing it next week. So if you saw our title, that earlier tweet, when we're talking about how to improve your financial life. Yeah, sorry, we had to reschedule this to next week. So thank you very much. Thank you all for joining, and God willing, see you next week.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our thoughts. I hope you learned a thing or two and start practicing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Do tell a friend about Money Convos so we all become wealthy together. Talk to you soon. Bye.